In studio for a couple of segments is a man who I refer to glowingly as political muckraker, raker of muck, and of late it would be the Oracle, not at Delphi, the Oracle of Caddo. Mr. John Settle is here.
And he's
when you
Natalie
were here,
attired today.
When you were here last week, and you said, I just got a feeling, the way I see this thing breaking out, you said, is Perkins first, Tyler second, the rest of them. And I said, John, that's not what the polls say. What the hell? You nailed it. You called it. You hit it on the nose. How did you know? What did you know that everybody else seemed to miss?
I think that I'd been talking to a lot of people throughout the community, and people talking to me, stopping me at places, a lot of people I don't even know, and was just listening to the conversation. It was quite apparent that most people wanted change. And I thought that the fundraising by Perkins was a major tip-off.
That number you said was 43,000 to 12,000 for Ollie over the last month or so, right?
Yeah, over the last month. And the fact that he was working hard. I mean, I think he was working very hard. Did it
break late for Perkins? Aaron and I had talked for a long time about how we talked to so many folks who in the last couple of weeks just hadn't decided. Do you think it was?
I think there was a large undecided factor, and the reality is that the news in the last couple of weeks has not been very favorable to Tyler. I mean, if you want to look at the continuing problems with the water department, her hand-picked supervisor was arrested for water fraud. The budget she proposed is basically a deficit budget to propose spending 60% of your reserves. There hasn't been much good news at all for, quote, the Tyler administration. And then we have Lauren Scott's economic report that came out that says Northwest Louisiana is not going to grow. Shreveport's not going to grow. So the news at City Hall has been very negative for Tyler. And at the same time, I think people were finally focused on, if they weren't going to vote for Tyler, who were they going to vote for?
She came out swinging last night. She's a proven leader. She lives in the community. She votes in the community. She owns a home here.
I've got a job.
Yeah, I've got a job. Wow. I'm running the city while trying to campaign. Sounds a little aggressive. Did you hear anything in her voice that makes you think she could change to the minds of some of those people who voted against her?
Let me attach a second part to that. Should she have been doing that for the last month or two?
First off, I don't think Mayor Tyler can change her persona. She has never had to really politic for a job. Back in 2014, she went out of the gate as the well-known favorite. Right away, we had a candidate that Patrick Williams that was accused of double dipping. She had a real easy ride. That was her first political race. She had an easy ride, and she never has had to politic. I don't see her being able to become an aggressive political candidate. I don't see her supporters getting that motivated.
Do you see her withdrawing between now and December 8th?
Ooh.
Out of stubbornness, no. Out of reality, I think she probably should.
Won't happen though because of her stubbornness?
I don't know. It's doubtful, but she may.
Walk us through the numbers game. When you say, you're telling, Aaron says, you say, Miss Ollie, not a chance. Walk through the numbers game. Explain to me why.
Well, first of all, let's go this way. People are going to look a little closer at both people. Ollie Tyler yesterday was 73 years old and 10 months. She'll be 74 in January. Perkins will be 33. There's only 32 days to campaign between now and then, and that includes Thanksgiving. We have no idea how much money she has in the tank versus Perkins, but I can assure you that all those city people, contractors, are going to be sending big checks to Perkins.
76% of the people who voted yesterday voted against Ollie Tyler.
Correct. That's the key.
How does she get them?
I don't think she can. The only way she
can
get those people is if she could. I don't know how she's going to get them. Let's think about it. Jackson votes primary Democratic. He got 11%. She should get 8 or 9% of that. Savage had 14%, and he's really a big player in this, considering where he came from, his background, etc. And he may have some Bubba vote, but I think she'll get 10% of his vote.
You think so?
Yeah.
So Adrian gets 90% of his vote.
I think so. And then where's Taliaferro's vote going to split?
What I said last hour, I said the irony of this race is, as it stands right now, the hands, it's in the hands of white people. Ain't that crazy?
Well, yes, it is. And if there'd only been one Republican and all the Republican and they'd gotten all those votes, you would have had 34%. A Republican would have.
Let me ask you this, and we can talk about this more in the next segment, because this was something that I hit on last hour. I had tons of people who are conservative Republicans who went with Adrian. A, because they liked Adrian. B, because they felt like a Republican candidate could not win. If there had been one Republican candidate, be it Taliaferro or Savage, and let's say they yanked 34, 35%, which was the combined Republican vote, plus whatever percentage of the GOP conservative vote that Adrian got that he wouldn't have gotten because there would have been a GOP candidate that Republicans across this part of this thought could win. Suddenly you've got a Republican guy, and maybe you've got Ollie and not Adrian. Is that? I'm not crazy, am I?
No, you're not. But the Republican would have lost in the end. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people said it. Even Republicans.
So basically, pardon me. So basically, if you didn't want Ollie, no matter your party, things worked out for the best.
Correct. 76% of the people didn't want Ollie.
Can you think
Do
about?
you realize that the last mayor and incumbent that was opposed was Bo Williams? He polled 28%, and Keith Hightower 42%. Now it was a different election because the black voters were still in the minority, et cetera. But it's a pretty, when 76% of the people don't vote for you and you're an incumbent, doesn't that send a message?